Hello y'all and welcome. You are with Kelly of the Forgotten South, and today I am at St. Mary's Chapel in Orange County, North Carolina. I just happened upon this chapel while I was out riding around looking for another property, and I figured I'd stop real quick, and there's some pretty interesting stuff I thought I'd show y'all. So I'm out here in kind of rural North Carolina, not far from Hillsboro. Over here, what we're seeing, this is actually a cemetery over here, and I'm gonna walk y'all over to it because it looks pretty interesting to me. I don't know a ton about this church yet because, like I mentioned, I just found out about it as I was riding around, but I do know that an Anglican congregation started meeting here as early as 1759, y'all. 1759, that's a long time ago in American history years. So you can see there's the chapel right now. Now that chapel was built 100 years later in 1859. The brick in the chapel was actually made from clay that was brought right here from this property. Now, back in those days, in the 1850s, in the days before the Civil War, this road right here that you're seeing, this was St. Mary's Road. This was a very well-traveled trade route between travelers and locals and things like that. So this would have been a pretty important crossroads then. There's not a whole lot here now, but the church is still here. And then this cemetery right over here that I'm really excited to see. Now, this fieldstone wall that's around the cemetery was reportedly placed there in 1836 and has been there since then. So, marking off this cemetery very perfectly here is this fieldstone wall. Now, like I mentioned, this cemetery, or this church, was founded in 1759 first as an Anglican cemetery, or Anglican church. The first burial that I was able to read about is, I believe, in 1780 is the oldest burial here. So just a few years after the American Revolution. Now, reportedly, I don't know where they are yet. We'll see if we can find them. But the first church that was built here in 1759, where that one is now, that church was a log church. And apparently the stones that were the cornerstones of it are laying somewhere in this cemetery. So I'm going to see if I can find those. Now, from what I can tell right now, this church does not have active services anymore, but it is still well maintained and taken care of. There was a time when the property had kind of fallen into disrepair, but I believe it was either in the 1940s or 50s, a local group was using it for community events, and they stepped up to do a restoration of the building to make sure that it would be standing for more generations. So now we're inside the cemetery wall. You can see this fieldstone wall goes all the way around the perimeter here. All the way around. I want to tell y'all, this is a really interesting setting. These giant pine trees out in this field. I mean, this is a peaceful place. I don't know when the most recent burial out here has been, but I'm going to do a better job of surveying these headstones while I'm here, and I'll be happy to give y'all more stories. I just thought everyone might enjoy a quick little tour of this interesting historic site that I found today. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to ask me in the comments down below, and I can answer those later on in the blog post that I'll be doing about it. Thank y'all so much for being here.